Good evening. My name's Duke, and I'm doing a vlog entry that I'm calling Decisions right now. The reason for this is that I'm having to face one of the biggest decisions of my life, and it directly affects the lives of 6 children, in particular one child. The reason why it affects 6 children is because I am a single dad of 6 children. And the one in particular that it affects is my daughter Naomi. She was at 18 months diagnosed with gliomastocytoma, which is brain cancer. When she was originally diagnosed, my wife was still alive, and we were able to make decisions together, and we were able to talk things out, hash things out. I'm having to make this decision on my own. Now, I shouldn't say on my own, because I do have a really good set of doctors that are working with Naomi, an incredible set of doctors at Children's National Medical Center. I can't say enough about this team. Dr. Wong, her primary doctor there, oncologist on the team, just really dynamic. The love that he has for his patients is incredible, and the love that he has for Naomi is just incredible. But ultimately, the decision for her care comes down to a decision that I have to make. And his job is it's incredible, because he has to sit back and accept the decisions that parents make all the time. And in this case, he's got to accept the decision that I make. And it's not an easy decision to make on your own. He's given me the information, and I've looked through it, and to me it's a wall of words. I don't, I wouldn't expect him to show up at my job and try to tell me how to do my job, and I don't like having to tell him, okay, this is the course of action we're going to take, but that's how it's done. He's given me several options. Naomi could go back onto IV chemo. She did this for the first several months or year of I guess a couple years of her battling cancer. It was effective to a point, and then it stopped being effective, and the cancer started growing. So we shifted over to a really neat, what they call a MAC inhibitor drug, and it's shown so much promise. So many children have had some great things happening with that. Unfortunately for Naomi, it just didn't work the way we wanted it to. What can you say? What can you do? So now I'm left with, okay, do we go back onto an IV drug, IV chemo, that we know the side effects for? We know what it will cause. We know what it can damage. We know that it's taking one poison and inserting it into her body to battle something that's killing her. Just the idea of taking a poison and putting it into your child is just foreign to me. But that's what fighting cancer is. The other option is going along the lines of something like the MAC inhibitor, which is an experimental drug. And Dr. Wong did a great job. He's excited about this drug, but he looked at me and he said, I've never used it. I can look at what they say. I can look at what it shows. It's really a great thing. But, and I asked him point blank, what would you do in my situation? Because I'm trying to get an honest opinion from somebody who's in the field. I'm not in the medical field. So the decision, though, still falls back on me. And I don't have the person that gave birth to Naomi here to make that decision with. Now, I've got a lot of friends out there, and they've all got their opinions, I'm sure. I've got friends that when Naomi was first diagnosed came out at me with their opinion. Well, if you just do this, this diet for her will totally get rid of the cancer. Woo, you can turn on late night TV and well, this drug here will be sure to cure you of any cancer. And let me tell you right now, there is not one silver bullet out there to take care of cancer, to take care of the common cold, to care of the flu, they, doctors are practicing medicine, practicing. Sometimes they're going to get it right. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes, because every human body is different. The fact that Naomi has cancer is because her body is different than everybody else's. We've got similar parts, similar, plasma and things that course through our blood are similar, but ultimately each individual is just that. It's like a snowflake. Each one is an individual. Each one is affected by different things. We don't know what caused Naomi's cancer. We just know she has it. And so we have to fight it. How do you fight it? And there comes the decision. Right now it looks like I'm leaning, as tough as it is, I'm leaning towards the experimental drug. See, this is the part I'd like to edit out, but you need to see what a parent goes through. Because I want you to know, and I want to be there to help any other parent that's going through this, to say you can do it. And it's okay. It's not easy. Don't let anybody fool you. But you do it. Because being strong doesn't mean not crying. Being strong doesn't mean that you don't have feelings. It just means that you're going to be there for that child. So you press on. You make the decision. Right or wrong, you make the decision. But like I was saying, I'm going to probably go with the experimental, simply because the fact that I've seen what the IV chemo did to her. It's hard because the fact that it doesn't just affect me, it doesn't just affect her, it does affect her brothers. They've already been through quite a bit with losing their mom, back in 2012. To lose Naomi, that's going to have a high impact on them. It'll have a high impact on me. But, right now, we've got to make a decision. There's no excuse for not doing something. If you try and fail, at least you did something. If you do nothing, you know what the result's going to be. So, that being said, I found one of Anne's prayer journals, and I'll just read the last line from December 28th of, I think it was 2004. She didn't put the year. But the last line is, thank you for bringing him into my life, speaking of me. I ask that you meet his desires as well as his needs. Guide him and direct him so he's confident in your guidance. Confident in his guidance. Wow. If you knew the decisions that I blew in the time after Anne's death till now, you'd understand my angst. Yeah, I've made some mistakes. But you know what? I didn't sit stagnant. I made a decision. I set a course of action, and I followed through. Naomi's healthcare, the decision on whether to try an experimental drug, whether to go back to IV chemo. I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to walk it through. I hope it's the right decision. But sitting stagnant and doing nothing, that's ignorance. And we know where that would end. So here's hoping, here's praying, and here's keeping the battle against cancer going. Have a good one.